Daily.
Welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. Omnia.
Yes.
It's a very interesting day. It's Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
It's a happy Thursday right here on Future Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, I think today's weather does kind of bring that quiet vibes.
Yeah, it's a very gloomy, cloudy day, and I hope you're all enjoying the weather, even though it is getting a little bit hot again, and we're trying to savor every little bit of winter left. But you're listening to Future Talk. This is the one and only place where we give you a quick roundup of everything that is happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and around the world. Today, Google is making headlines because they have been quietly adding iOS app privacy labels to their Gmail. Now, we do know that Apple has released brand new privacy notifications, and we're going to be telling you the latest on what is happening with Gmail in regards to that.
But we're not done with labels just yet because Twitter's new hacking label has already been hacked. I mean, you make something to counter it, and it gets countered.
Basically. So hackers have got into everything, even the very own labels that are supposed to be protecting us against hacking. Speaking of Google Maps have also released the brand new dark mode on Android devices. If you're a big fan of the dark mode, you got to stay tuned to find out how and where can you go ahead and get this brand new mode on any Android device.
Yes, and if you like to take the perfect picture, well, I got a drone that can do that, but not any type of drone. We're talking about facial recognition drones and how they will use artificial intelligence to take the perfect picture of you.
Yes, indeed. Also, in the world of apps, we're talking about a brand new app right here in the UAE that is called Barq. It has launched the brand new UAE Information Smart app. What does it do, and where can you go ahead and find it? All this and more is going to be in store right here on the show. We've got a packed show in store for all of you, so make sure you keep Pulse 95 locked, and we'll be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
If you're an avid user of Gmail coming right out of Google, you may have noticed a brand new update where Google has been quietly adding the Apple iOS privacy labels to their applications, and this is soon going to become an official update for billions of users of the Gmail application. But according to many websites that tend to check up on the latest Google updates, Google has been quite slow to support the Apple app privacy labels that have done so to make sure that there are no issues coming up with using the brand new Gmail. Now, it has been 2 months since the Gmail app last saw an update, and the iOS privacy updates have been around, I think, since the iOS 14 update, which happened, I think, back in June.
Yeah, now Google has been making a lot of major updates to its iOS apps, and I mean, obviously, it is very important as we kind of see that maybe Google wasn't slow per se, but maybe they kind of put it off a little bit because obviously Google owns Android, right? And Google and Android are together. So obviously they would like to optimize the Android systems better than the iPhones. But again, each to their own. But now Gmail is the second major app to receive the IPS app privacy details apart from YouTube. But yet Google is still not going to add the labels to search, photos, and maps. Now, the app does apparently share your location and user ID with advertisers, as well as information about your interaction with advertisements, which obviously we see on a daily when you go on YouTube. Hey, are you gonna skip this ad like you skipped out on Bitcoin or something?
Yes. Did you see that app?
I say it every day. So, I mean, when we skip that ad, that information is being sent to Google. So they're going to try to change the way they make an ad so we don't skip the ad. So, I mean, obviously, that's how they market and how they make money. But some people don't want that.
Yes, and especially when it comes to the Gmail application, the privacy labels that they've added do clarify to all users that the application does not collect your name, your physical address, or your phone number. And any information that is shared within the application stays on that app only. Also, the information in the labels is submitted by the company Google itself. So Apple does not make any promises about the accuracy of the information that they go ahead and communicate. Back in January, Google did say that it was delaying updates to its iOS apps on the App Store because it was not ready yet to be transparent about the data it collects from its users. So the new Apple policy actually requires every developer to go ahead and disclose how data is being collected from App Store users and how is it being used to track them.
I mean, I believe Apple is smart because we do know Apple, they're kind of changing the game with the privacy features, whether it was Facebook, Google now has problems with in Australia. So, I mean, we're seeing that everyone has has a problem now. And funny enough, before Apple was the only one who had a problem with a lot of regulators and a lot of people talking about the durability of their phones and how, they were throttling phones back in the day. But now Apple seems to be fixing their mistakes and upping the bar.
And preventing others from doing the same mistake.
Upping the bar. So, it's more like, hey, I got burnt. All of us are going to get burnt. So either we all go on a certain path or it just doesn't work. But we want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215 or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. We're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about Twitter and how they created something to prevent hacking. And the thing they created got hacked. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep Pulse95 locked because we're going to be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Aisha. But we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, Twitter.
It's not Aish, it's Twitter.
Twitter is not Aish. So Aisha means living.
Alive.
Alive. Twitter is not alive, ladies and gentlemen, because Twitter's new hacking label has already been hacked. So they created something to kind of prevent hacks. And what happened? It got hacked. Believe it or not, ironic. But ladies and gentlemen, Twitter has started to label some tweets with a warning about materials obtained through hacking. Now, this new label is appearing on some news stories that Twitter does believe are based on hacks and leaked documents. But Twitter users have found an easy way to hack the URL or link together to make it appear on any tweet.
Honestly, when I read this story, I was like, wow. The measures people are willing to go through to the point where they're hacking Twitter hacking labels. Why would you do that? Well, the reason behind it is because some people do want to gain traction, and many of the times when users come across a certain tweet where they know that it's like exclusive information that was leaked that they have certain access to, they want that, let's say, hype about a certain tweet. So they went ahead and hacked that URL to be able to make this feature appear on any tweet that they want. So the new label actually appeared on a story from a news outlet earlier this week. And if you go ahead and share the URL of this particular story, you will get a warning that is generated. But Twitter has also been displaying this warning if you trick it into doing so by using a specially crafted link to a genuine URL combined with the flagged ones. So the whole concept of the Twitter hacking label is that they find a label or they find a URL coming from, let's say, a news outlet, but it has a lot of flagged URLs. So Twitter goes ahead and considers it as a tweet that needs to be flagged to all users to make sure that they're trying to fight misinformation. Now, this warning trick itself works on both the web and Twitter's mobile app for both iOS and Android devices, but it does appear to have crashed the Android version if you go ahead and attempt to like a tweet that includes this new label.
Yes, now Twitter's new controversial hacking materials warning does come after the company is criticized for blocking links to New York Post stories about Joe Biden's son. Now, Twitter did quickly reverse its decision to block links and put a policy in place to use these warning labels instead. Now, this does appear to be one of the first times that we've seen this label in action as part of Twitter's hack materials policy. Now, Twitter has also used similar labels in the past for combating misleading COVID-19 information, and even going to the extent of former ex-U.S. President Donald Trump for misleading and false tweets. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Twitter is not there to comment on when it's going to fix the new label, but we will be updated on that shortly. But ladies and gentlemen, sometimes they're hacking they're just trolling. They just want to have fun. Now, we know a lot of people hack because it's fun.
And in this case, people want to attract more clicks to their tweets. So that's what they've been doing to attract more users to follow their Twitter accounts. Let us know your thoughts. Our text lines are open 4215 Duet this a lot or slide into our DMs at Pulse95 Radio. Have you seen Twitter's brand new hacking labels? And do you know anyone who actually is a hacker who would be interested in making the most out of Twitter's hacking feature?
I don't want to get to know any hackers. They might hack me.
They could be white hat hackers. You just never know.
I ain't taking no risks. Ladies and gentlemen, 4215 Duet Slot. Take a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about the Google Maps.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Google Maps. Who does not use it and who does not love it? I personally don't know where I would be in this life without Google Maps.
Lost.
Very lost. Anyone who knows me knows that I need Google Maps anywhere and everywhere, and a lot of the times we do fight because that Google Maps woman, sometimes she's just not that clear, honey.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're going into exits and entry points, it's like, oh, But we
I
have
want to
great
kill her
news.
sometimes. We do have great news, though, because if you're a big fan of the dark mode on different applications, now you get to celebrate that Google Maps has come out with a full-fledged dark mode on all Android devices. This feature has been in the testing since September, but now it is officially out and everyone can go ahead and enjoy it.
I mean, you know what the saying is, once you go black, you can never go back. Because when you go into dark mode and black mode, it's just so much more comfortable for your eyes. And
it saves battery life.
I don't care about the battery life. My eyes, man. I mean, at night, it's very bright. So before we go into the details, I'm just looking at it as how, for example, a lot of people use Google Maps. Most of the world uses Google Maps. So having that dark mode, especially at night,
yes,
I mean, it's going to relax your eyes a lot. And
especially if people drive a lot during the night. And we're coming up to the weekend, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's very important, and I think you made a good point on it, that you only use Google Maps if you're going to a place you're not familiar with. But a lot of people, and my dad included, he's been doing the same thing for the past 12 years. He goes to the same place and back. But he has Google Maps on just, for traffic updates,
yes,
to know which is a better alternative route, if there's an accident or not. So having Google Maps is a necessity, and a lot of people have it on 24/7. But once your Google Maps has been updated, you can turn it on for your entire phone by heading to Settings, Theme, and pick Always in Dark Theme.
So this is if you're the type of person who loves to have all of their apps in dark mode at all times. I'm not sure about you, Hani, but personally, I have my laptop and phone with the sunset sunrise mode. So during the daylight hours, I would have it not on dark mode. And then the minute it hits 6 p.m., it immediately switches alone to dark mode. So I'm wondering if Google Maps will allow the same exact feature on their application. The company did also introduce some updates to Android Auto. So you can go ahead and actually customize your wallpapers, and Android Auto is going to feature games as well. So sadly, this is only currently available to Android devices, but if you do have an iOS device, I'm sure that the apps automatically switch to dark mode. That happens with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. So I think the same applies to Google Maps as well.
Exactly. Now, I have dark mode on all the time. I do not. Nothing. I think even Microsoft Outlook now has dark mode.
Yes.
Yeah, which I do love dark mode. And even there's so many things that you can have dark mode on, even YouTube, everything. There's nothing I don't have that isn't in dark mode. It's just much nicer to your eyes. And if I see something like a white background, my eyes start to hurt.
And it's true, because it does actually strain your eye and creates eye fatigue. It's been proven by research.
Now, Android Auto is also getting a split screen feature that will put maps side by side with media controls. Now, for longer drives, you and your passengers can stay entertained with voice-activated games like Trivia and Jeopardy, and just say, "Hey Google, play a game" to get started. Now, Google is also rolling out Password Checkup to Android to help you alert about potential leaks or data breaches that may have exposed your existing password to hackers.
This is a fantastic feature, especially in the day and age that we're living in, where hacking attacks have been happening a lot more often than before. Password Checkup will be rolling out to devices with Android 9 and above, so make sure you go ahead and update your operating system, but it's also going to automatically check passwords that have already been saved on Android along with any new ones. So it's very similar to the keychain feature on Apple devices.
Now, what I'm looking at lately, I'm thinking about those password encrypted apps that generate a password for each thing. I mean, it looks very safe, but at the same time,
it's hard to memorize.
I'm kind
unless
of
they're automatically saved.
They're automatically saved. So if you have like a password keeper, right? So they'll be changing passwords every couple of hours and minutes, but you just need a master password to get into it. I believe something like that. But I mean, I have no experience with it, but I do believe to be safer, you would need a password keeper or password lock. But I mean, I'm looking very forward for this to come onto iOS, as it's still not yet on iOS, just Android so far. But let us know your guys' thoughts. 4215 do thoughts, or on Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. Would you like to have a fully dark mode Google Map, or you like to kind of have a difference night and day? When it's nighttime, dark mode. When it's daytime, it's white mode. Yes,
let us know your thoughts. And also, what do you have on your phone in general? Are you a lover of dark mode or not? Text us in at 4215, do it a lot, or slide into our DMs at Pulse95 Radio. Coming up, we're talking all about that picture perfect picture for everyone who wants to go ahead and take it. It's not with a phone, it's not with a gadget, it's with a facial recognition drone.
Check this out. Check this out. Oh, 95.
You know, it is Thursday, it's the weekend. Everyone wants to snap that picture-perfect image of their weekend, of their food, of where they're going out. But before we talk about facial recognition drones that can do exactly that, I want to tell you an interesting story, honey, regarding WhatsApp. So recently, we've seen all the backlash about WhatsApp's brand new feature where they can listen into your conversations with businesses. And they mentioned that the reason why they were introducing such a feature is because they wanted to attract more businesses on WhatsApp. Did you know that many brands nowadays, what I've seen is makeup brands, have actually started selling their products through WhatsApp? So like, let's say there's a brand called NARS. You can actually WhatsApp their number and order through that number. No longer do you have to go to a retail store or even buy online. All you have to do, save them as a contact and make your order.
I mean, I think that is 100% even, sometimes we can say even better than online shopping.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very quick and simple. And
they send you a link where you can go ahead and enter your card details. There's an OTP, so you're paying safely.
I think the only interaction I had with businesses on WhatsApp was Aramex and DHL. And quick and simple. Honestly, I mean, having a business on WhatsApp and having to talk back and forth with it, even if it's an AI. I mean, and obviously, if you're not understanding from the AI, all you have to do is say, I would like to talk to customer support, and they will let you talk to customer support.
But it's much easier and I think a lot faster, especially if you know exactly what it is that you want to order. But moving back and going back to our facial recognition technology drones, nowadays, we don't even need a phone to snap that perfect picture because drones out there are using facial recognition technology to be able to do that. And today we're going to be traveling all the way to countries that do allow it because facial recognition drones have actually been banned by multiple U.S. cities, including Boston, San Francisco, and Portland, because of all the risks that they have been creating on surveillance states as well as airports.
Yes, now despite these concerns, though, work to improve facial recognition tech is still forging ahead. Now, while both private companies and governments looking to harness its potential for military, law enforcement, or even profit-seeking applications. Now, one such company is a startup which is called AnyVision Interactive Technologies. Now, AnyVision is looking to kick facial recognition up a notch by employing drones for image capture. But a U.S. patent system, or patent application, did publish earlier this month, did outline that the company's system, which does sound something straight out of Black Mirror episode. Now, what does that drone do? That drone does capture an image of its person or target person and then analyzes the image to figure out how to get a better image of that person. And it does adjust its positioning in relation to the target, let's say by flying a bit lower or even entering or centering its angle.
Now, we do know that whenever we ask someone to take a photo of us, we want that perfect angle. You don't want to look too short. You don't want to look too tall. You don't want to look too fat. You want to look, the best you could possibly look in a photo. And we know that angles are everything. And this is exactly what these drones are doing because through a machine learning model, they can actually classify what face do you have, what type of face, what shape do you have, and give you that perfect classification probability score. So it basically means they try to identify whether the person that is being photographed is in fact the person that they are looking for. And once they do that, your picture is captured, and this could also possibly be used in governments, whenever you want to renew a certain passport or do any official documentation, you can simply rely on it.
Yes, but a lot of whistleblowers are saying it is unethical to have a drone that is flying around the city, taking pictures of everyone. I mean, we kind of saw this in China. China had a big problem coming with the facial recognition. And people they made masks to kind of hide themselves from facial recognition when it did come to airports, security, etc. Because some people kind of felt like they are being
monitored
and encaged. So I don't think a lot of countries might approve it, and it could probably be used for professional military use.
I see where you're going with this, and I agree with you. I just want to hear from all of you. What do you think of these drones? Would you trust a drone, a facial recognition drone, to basically take a photo of your face and keep it in its logs, especially if you know it may help facilitate other governmental services, but it also poses a risk on your own privacy?
Yeah, I mean, with a drone is kind of different because they're going into let's say,
Crowded areas.
Crowded areas. I mean, it could be useful. Let's say you lose a child in a concert, a park. I mean, there's a lot of good uses to it, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like
what happens to our privacy?
What happens to our privacy? Now, having facial recognition at a government sector, for example, you're going in, renewing your ID, for example, or like we're seeing at the UAE airports, going without a passport. 100% sounds good to me. But again, there's a lot of people that have concerns when we're talking about a flying camera going around the city. You know, like, what are you guys looking for? But
I feel like it's going to be a second China.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what's happening in the United States. So let us know your guys' thoughts, 4215 or on Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. But ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing holding me back.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
What's worth a click and download? Well, if you like news, I love reading the news.
You love reading the news?
Yeah.
I love reading the news as well.
Well, UAE's Barq has launched the UAE Info Smart App, and we're going to be telling you all about this great news. Now, it's a smart application with unique features and categories for all community members in the UAE. Now, this does come within the framework of UAE Barq's continuous efforts and in line with the strategic plans to keep pace with smart transformation in the UAE and even providing innovative and advanced solutions for its users.
Yes, the UAE Info Smart App actually provides every single user, every single resident and citizen right here in the UAE with an experience and different features and options to find out the latest news, decisions, and information about the facilities that are found in Sharjah and in different Emirates, as well as paid parking lots, because this app can actually help make parking payments in a number of Emirates much easier. It's very similar to the way an application that we talked about earlier works, which is Parkin.
Parkin, yes, 100%. Now, it does seek to instantly deliver all decisions that do concern the UAE community as soon as they are issued around the clock. In addition to events and news and everything related to schools, restaurants, malls, and hospitals through the country. Now, the app will save users the trouble of searching for geographical location, contact information, or the most prominent details. Now, Barq, most of you guys do know it from Barq al-Imarat, from the UAE news. There's in English and in Arabic. And I get most of my news that happens in the UAE from Barq al-Imarat, as I do know. And I do believe it's a trusted source.
Yes.
So having an app that can do all of that and on top of it give you the updated news that's happening in the country is very important. Now, the UAE Info Smart App also does facilitate making parking payments, just like Omnia said, which is kind of related to Parkin. And I do believe that it's very interesting because we did talk to, I believe, Amina Zaraoni.
Yes, who's the CEO of Sahab Smart Solutions.
Yeah, and we were talking about how everything to be stuck in one, to be jam-packed in one area, it makes it easier for a lot of people. So, I mean, with Amin Zaraoni, the interview we had with him yesterday, and today talking about this, it just goes to show how what he's saying, the UAE, and what he was saying is 100% accurate, because we need to jump on the full transformation to digitalization.
Absolutely. We're looking at the UAE becoming, in every emirate, a digital government. And as a user, you can get all of the latest updates on any announcements that are happening through that app, which is UAE Info. In addition to all of this, you can also find a list of all the official holidays right here in the UAE. So you don't have to sit down and wonder, is Sunday going to be off? Is Thursday going to be off? You can simply check it out on the app, as well as the prayer timings in every emirate, which will come in handy as we're approaching
100%.
Ramadan, and we all want to know when is iftar timing. The UAE Info,
I'm hungry already.
The UAE Info Smart App is now available on the Apple Store as well as the Google Play Store. So if you have an iOS or an Android phone, you can go ahead and check it out, and it's available in both Arabic and English.
Arabic and English, which is very important. Again, now hopefully we'll see it coming out in different languages soon. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy with this type of app. As you know, if let's see, for example, sometimes we'll hear, hey, did you know that we have a holiday on the 14th of whatever? I'm like, do we really? And then I'll go to Instagram and type in Barq al-Imarat, and I'll check if it's viable or not, or if whatever I heard was right. Accurate. And most of the time, Barq al-Imarat will have that. And just reading it, I know already that what I heard was true. So, I mean, having this type of app is very important, and I do believe that I will take it
You'll
and
download it?
I'll download it and I'll use it.
Perfect.
I mean, again, having everything into a smart app is very important.
Yes, the application is UAE Info with info spelled as INFO. You can go ahead and check it out as we've
I'm gonna
mentioned.
download it right now.
It's available on both app stores, so Android or iOS users, you can go ahead and check it out. It's great to download right before the weekend, so if you want to pay for any parking, you can easily find that all embedded into one place. Future Talk is coming to an end, but we want to wish you a blessed weekend. And to help you celebrate this weekend, we have coming up Afternoon Karak with Mikhail Atiyah, who's going to be giving you their weekend recommendations. What shows and movies should you be tuned into? You can catch that on their show from 4 to 5 p.m.
Yes, UA Info has, by the way, Omnia, hit the number 3 chart in the news category on the iOS store. So,
There you go.
you know, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like they're rewriting the stars. So, I think it's time
To
play.
rewrite the stars?
Yes, with James Arthur.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.